every time we make something a little bit better for Black America, somehow it gets way better for white America. This is called interest convergence, and it was defined in 1980 in a paper in the Harvard Law Review by a professor named Derek Bell. And Derek Bell coined this term interest convergence, where somehow if the interests of white Americans and Black Americans go together, then something positive is done for Black America, which really helps white America. And this has happened over and over and over in the American experience, where it ends up, when you look at it historically, that Black America got crumbs and white America got all the cookies.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining me here for Talk About It Tuesday. And as always, let's jump right on. Let's just jump right on into it. Where to start? Where to start? You know, let's start with a Black Republican woman who wants to start a Republican club on her HBCU campus. I know, sounds odd. It is odd. Here we go.
I am trying to restart the College Republicans at FAMU. So today I'm here to explain to you why I'm a Republican and what values of mine align with the party. First off, I want to say I've never been a Democrat. I've never registered as a Democrat. The first time I was able to register to vote, I registered as a Republican. And I would say first because of my Christian values and the fact that I was raised with conservative values. And also I was raised in the Black church. I was raised around that type of environment. My grandparents are pastors, so I was raised in that environment, and I also went to a Christian school and was brought up in that. Now, concerning my values, the first thing that I believe in is a strong family unit. Now, I've never been married and I've never had children, but that's something that I do desire for myself concerning my future. I also believe that all human life is precious and that life matters from the time that a baby is inside of a woman's womb up until the time that someone.
We have more on her. Of course, we have more on her. But I love how she tried to act like, oh, it's just standard. You know, you grow up in the Black church. You're about this. Of course, you're going to be Republican. Girl, this is not 1847. These are not the radical Republicans. Are you okay? Are you well? This will answer that for you.
I'm pro-Black, a self-proclaimed pro-Black conservative, so of course I want to be around my people, even if they don't agree with me.
This senior college student wants to bring something to her HBCU that you can't find at any Black college in the country: a college Republicans chapter.
I believe that Black people are needed on both sides.
The only issue is that she can't find an advisor for the group to be recognized on campus.
I emailed 4 professors so far. 2 have responded, 2 haven't. The 2 that responded said they couldn't do it.
While rare, college Republicans have had homes at HBCUs in the past. As recently as 2016, at least 4 HBCUs had chapters, including FAMU. Today, there are none.
We need an advisor. We can't start it without an advisor.
Sharice recognizes that she is an anomaly, being a Black female Republican. 94% of Black women supported Hillary Clinton in 2016, and 90% supported Joe Biden in 2020.
My whole life I felt different, and I've kind of felt like the outcast, so this is nothing new for me.
Even getting to this point of publicly sharing her desires, she said, hasn't been easy, but she remains determined.
Just because I'm getting sent threats, does that mean that I'm going to change my opinion or leave the school or, you know, quit the project that I'm trying to do? No. At the end of the day, politics is politics. You shouldn't threaten someone's life over it.
FAMU school officials told NBC News that the university would welcome the college Republicans back to campus. However, they noted there are guidelines that would need to be met.
Well, she has the Republican penchant for lying down pat. Did you catch what she did from the first video to the second video? The first video, oh, I was raised under this. I went to a Christian school. I come from pastors. I was raised up in the church. Of course, this is how things go. This is the status quo. To, I've always been an outsider, but I'm pro-Black. She reeks of predominantly white institutions and wanting to fit in, and then wanting to seek her identity at an HBCU, probably because her indoctrination had her to believe that it would be easier for her on the collegiate level to go into a HBCU, because you'd be amazed at how many people think that the standards are lower and the coursework would be easier at the collegiate level because Black is in the title. And she's not fitting in. She's not trying to fit in, because how in the hell are you pro-Black and a part of the GOP willingly? Student loans coming to you. You about to graduate. You need them student. You need some collateral for them student loans. Gotta be. Because can you be conservative? Yes, you can be conservative and not be a part of the GOP. Conservatism and liberalism aren't contained to parties as much as people try to act as if it is. Because generally when we say conservative, people automatically go GOP, but there are conservatives on the Democrat side, there are conservatives on the libertarian side, there's conservatives all around. It's not confined to a political party. But you're gonna look me in the eye on the street, means, and tell me that you're gonna be pro-Black and pro-conservative Republican? Okay. I believe that as much as I believe that Ron DeSantis is good for Florida. Not the fuck at all. Absolutely not. But I mean, since we kicked it off with a liar, a cheater, let's move on to the woman of the hour. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Come here, my little tater tots. Let's talk for a minute. Now, y'all know, if I am nothing, I am thorough. So let's start at the beginning. Well, the beginning of this go round with Ophelia.
You ain't mad? Because I'm mad as hell. You know that mad that you just get so angry that you just cry about it? You're so mad you just cry about it. That's how mad I am. Like, they have lost everything. Everything. Imagine walking outside of your house and seeing nothing that you ever worked hard for, just gone. I've seen houses just completely just slide down the mountain. I'm seeing people making videos because they can't find family members. How are they supposed to apply for something if they don't have electricity? That does not get their baby fed in this moment. Like, the job they had, the building is gone. Like, how is nobody mad? I'm so fucking mad.
Now, before we move on, there's the video. I want to point out a few things. She's so mad that she went out to her car, impeccably dressed, hair done, face full of makeup, no tears. Got all the talking points out that have been debunked well before she made this video. Contradicted what residents there have been putting on the internet before she made the video. contradicted what FEMA themselves had to take energy and space off of the website for helping people to debunk before she made the video. But did y'all catch? Nice little dress, hair coiffed, full makeup, no tears, no running, no nothing. Okay. Now, after she made that video, we know that she gave a little explanation. Let's take a look at that.
Y'all have... I've been on this app since 2020. And I've loved on people the entire time. The entire time. And not one time have I ever used my platform for politics, for any of that stuff, right? Because, for one, people don't know how to talk to one another when it comes to politics. They just don't. They hate you if you don't agree. I can't deal with it. And people want a safe place to come to, you know? People don't want to see all that mess. And the world is so hacked up right now, like it's like one big ball of like evilness. But I have never made my page about politics. I'm not going to. I ain't going to. All right, you want to be a political person, you go do that, okay? You want to be a political content creator, you go do that. I follow several of them. But the other day, I made a video. And in the video, this is all I said. I said, y'all ain't angry? I am so angry and frustrated and saddened that the people of North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, all of them have to go through this. Because let me tell you something, this hurricane is the last, Lord have mercy. This is the last thing that people need right now. Last thing people need. People can barely afford, like, life. And then they got to go and deal with losing a home, their cars flooded. Like, it's... Man, I think about it and it makes my heart, like, it gives me anxiety. I always try to put myself in other people's positions, right? How I would feel if, like, everything I known was gone, just gone. My life's work or my home, or I lost my grandfather, or, you know, I seen a video earlier of an elderly couple lost their life together in the home. Anyway, in that video, I never said anything about politics, FEMA, money, the government, presidents. Never said anything about those things. None of that. I just expressed how frustrating and sad and angry I was that they got to go through this. You know? Like, the holidays is coming. I think about these people who lost their loved ones, and I know what I had to go through that first Christmas after I lost my baby child. Man, I don't know. But I didn't give any misinformation. I gave nothing in that video other than my heart is breaking for them. So whoever is making the video saying I misinformed, I didn't say anything about none of that. And I never have and I never will. My page is about love and laughter because I love on people, all people, everybody, you know. But it just goes to show, man, I don't know how many more times I can explain this. like I don't understand why anybody would roll with that video and turn it into something it's not. I don't get it. I've made several videos about where to send donations, like blankets, clothes, food, where to pick up, animal rescues. I've shared everything I could. But you know what's silly though? Is if I wouldn't have been using my platform to help the hurricane victims, I'd have been attacked for that. Like I don't know why I am such an attack goat for so many people, and all I do is love on them. But telling me that my son deserved to die because you're listening to people giving misinformation, I don't know. I don't think anybody deserves that, but I don't know why anybody made that video into that. I literally was talking about it's people. The people. They've lost it all. That don't piss you off? That pisses me. I went through Hurricane Katrina. Man, that was so damn hard. That was so damn hard. It took people years to build their life back up. And most of them didn't have the money to do that, you know? It's just, I'm angry. When things happen like that, I get mad at God. I'm mad. And I don't know why people took that video and made it anything other than that. Anyway, I love you. I gotta go psych myself up for this wedding tomorrow. I'm very proud and excited for it because I'm just honored that they chose me to marry them. And I'm grateful for that. But yeah, it's just disappointed that people just lie on you. Man, one of my favorite mutuals on this app just went and believed instantly. Does anything that I've been on here for does any of that count? Like, don't you go by my actions? I don't know, forget it. It doesn't matter. People, they either gonna agree with you or not agree with you, and that's okay. That's all right. But I just don't understand why people took that video and made it into something it wasn't, because I didn't say anything about FEMA, the government, the president, past presidents, future. I said none of that about anything. Like nothing. Anyway, if you're a victim of Hurricane Katrina, honey, I hear you. I hear you. You're going to get everything built back up. You're going to get it all back together. I don't know how long, but you're going to get it all back together. You will. Anyway.
Just to recap, before I break down that video, just to recap.
You ain't mad? Because I'm mad as hell. You know that mad that you just get so angry that you just cry about it? You're so mad you just cry about it. That's how mad I am. Like, they have lost everything. Everything. Imagine walking outside of your house and see nothing that you ever worked hard for just gone. I've seen houses just completely just slide down the mountain. I'm seeing people making videos because they can't find family members. How are they supposed to apply for something if they don't have electricity that does not get their baby fed in this moment? Like, the job they had, the building is gone. Like, how is nobody mad? I'm so fucking mad.
And keep in mind, that's the edited version. Okay? Because there was an original version that was a bit longer. I didn't get a chance to grab that one because it was already privated by the time I found out what was going on. But even in the second video, me. Red dress was a choice. In the bed, laying up, infantilizing herself. Oh, in the wedding, they chose me to do it. I've been here for so long, and my baby child. And you did talk about money. You did politicize it, and you've had a political platform the whole time around. Giving people a safe space means providing them with information to keep them safe. Ignoring what's putting people in harm's way, putting people in jeopardy, a part of the communities that you are profiting off of. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And about, oh, I was sharing this and I was sharing that and I was talking about this. Really? Really? Let's take a look at what she was doing between her rant in the car and her ultimate explanation, because that's only explanation number one. We're going to get to the rest of it. But here's what she was doing in the meantime, in between time. And yes, she officiated over a wedding as well.
Okay, me and Papa Tot are down here, downtown Mobile, Alabama, to meet with Terrence with We Are Human for the United Barbecue that's been planned for a long time. There's Papa Tot getting his stuff together. And we're headed down here to the barbecue now. That scared me. I didn't know nobody was behind me. I'll show you a little bit of downtown while we walk. Downtown Mobile always reminds me of New Orleans and Savannah, Georgia. It just always does.
love,
I know y'all waiting on Terrence. There he is.
Not just here in our country, so hopefully one day we
There's
can
Longhorn
be able to take
Steakhouse
this
over there
message around
cooking.
our world as well, and hopefully it'll catch on.
Got some people in
So this will be our
line
20th United Barbecue. Thank you so much to our
coming
sister,
up.
Mama Ty.
I hope y'all hungry.
Now that video was approximately 5 minutes. She's there to support. Now this young man bounces around the country during these events to help people. She's showing y'all what she likes about Alabama and downtown and what it reminds her of. And I hope y'all hungry. Why couldn't she shut up and let that young man and his mission be focused, be the focal point? Why wait until you're already downtown? Why wasn't she promoting that ahead of time so people could come down and help? She has millions of followers, but she's spreading love and she's a safe space for so many communities, right? When we say they're showing you who they are in your face repetitively, and there are people who take that bare minimum bullshit. That's not even bare minimum, okay? The bare minimum is here. She's floating with ease right up underneath it. Because if you say, hey, Taz, there's some people who will follow you to the end of the earth. I need to raise this money to help these people get out of this really bad situation. Can you get those people to come help? And I'll say, sure. And then I show up without the people. I ain't said nothing about me showing up there. I show up. I don't really give a location. I'm talking about my outfit, the buildings I like, the restaurants I like to go to. I'm speaking over you as you're trying to get information out. What did I do to help? What safe space was cultivated in that moment? See, people are more likely to recognize it if I do it. Because, you know, the skin I'm in. But when you make yourself small and meek, and you definitely make yourself a Southern belle, of course, honey, you can get away with the world. Just put a little sweetness on it and with that little tang, and baby, you can do no wrong. Because you call everybody your little tater tots. And as you're eating in front of them and they're munching on their crackers at their factory jobs, scrounging for pennies to get through, you act like you give a damn about them, but you just want to show them your fancy car and your latest jewelry. But that's not all.
And Papa Ty went out and got this car seat for us, everybody, because our brother here let us know that he got a newborn on the way and he needed a new car seat. They amazing as all ever, ain't I told you.
Imagine putting on an event to help people. You ask someone who's local to that area with millions of followers, and you see how sparse that is. And that young man was smart because he pointed out who did the work. Papa Tot. See, this is why it's important to pay attention to the words and the actions. Let me repeat that. This is why it's important to pay attention to the words and the actions. Because this was your moment to shine. You just stirred the pot. If you were really about helping people and you're saying you use your platform to help people, But wait, there's more. Y'all should know me by now.
Unless I have a specific like campaign that is just wanting my IG, which is fine. And that's besides the damn point. Hold on. Apparently, some wild person creates an entire story that did not happen. And the story was that I had posted something hateful and political on my IG and then deleted it Saturday. No, I didn't. But they had like my whole little team thinking that somebody done hacked in it. No, we looked through the deleted files, the archive files. Nothing had been archived since September of 2022, and it was some NASCAR thing that I was doing, something, no hate campaign or something. And nothing else had been deleted except for a double post. Like it was a video that had been posted twice. So you gotta delete one of them. It's like, why do that? Like, is it because somebody just wants me to be a bad person that bad that you can't find nothing, so you got to go and you just make up something? I would never do that to somebody. I would never do that to somebody. Like, I'm literally being attacked for something I didn't do. I never thought about doing. I didn't say. I didn't, like, nothing. Like, do people's actions mean anything now? Does anybody, like I've told y'all, oh man, I've told y'all so many times before, I have said, when it comes to places like this, man, you cannot believe anything somebody says unless you see it and hear it for yourself. And like, I'm being attacked because people literally believe that I would, first of all, I wouldn't do anything mean and hateful. Unless you piss me off maybe and I'm sticking up for myself. I don't know. But that's not even my character. It's not even my character. Oh, Lord have mercy. Look, my platform is built off of love and laughter. That's it. And when I created this account to be a watcher like everybody else, until I stitched somebody's video one day and I lifted them up and I read the comment section and it meant the world to me. And I thought, that's what I'll do. I'll use my platform to do just that. And I've did it ever since. But if y'all don't know by now that I am not a full-blown target for people to lie on and grow their accounts and get views. And like, I seen one of them barely had any followers, but they had 40.
It's all about her again. And someone with a notable mod that most everybody knows exists and has access to her accounts, a manager, all of these things. Someone was able to hack her and leave no trace. All of these people saw it. But she also slipped up and told us her origin story. She was just there to watch. Then she felt good about uplifting someone else. So that's when she decided to do what she did. That's when the character of Mama Tot was created. That's why she has multiple accounts. You got Shoe Lover, you got, like, you never intended to be a watcher. Your OG name was Shoe Lover. No, I never did anything. Why people got to make up stuff about me? Nobody has to. There are several subreddits dedicated to you screwing people over. You're always found in the comment section of lives and comments on messy TikTok. Those of us within the Black community have not forgotten your comments regarding the infamous Tart trip and how tone deaf you were regarding that. We haven't forgotten your views on transracial adoption. We haven't forgotten how political you got regarding a faux sex trafficking movie. But if you notice, each time it's not, oh no, this is where I stand. These are my views. I want these people to be protected. No, it's me. I'm attacked, but I've done this and I've done that. And I'm here to uplift you because it makes me feel good and now it makes me money. Because let's not forget, this is the same woman who said out of her own mouth on her own platform, one of the various pages that she has, that she quit her regular schmegular 9 to 5 to do this full time. Her bread and butter is in this. I mean, I get it as a business owner. I get it. But also as a business owner, you got to know, like Kenny Rogers said, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away. If you're going to say something and you know it's going to be controversial, stand on business. I have done it. Trust me, I am no stranger to online controversy. I've been attacked more times than I can count. Okay? There are probably fewer attacks waged on me than hairs on my head. Abso-freaking-lutely. But you can't go up there and go me when no one just out of the blue attacks you. There are people who literally exist and can put up a video of them just doing this. And there were people who will come out and attack them out of the blue. Yes, that is when you can say, oh, me, I am the victim. Not when you cause the problem. You are the whole fucking problem. You're just upset that there's nowhere for you to hide. You don't have enough mods to try to sweep this under the rug. And once again, who's coming to your defense are right-wing lug nuts, and you never denounce them. But don't take my word for it. Let's keep going down this journey. Because like I said, we're going to be thorough with this one.
I'm going to say one more thing about this Mama Tot situation. Y'all remember when Chaz made his video? And he said, what we see on TikTok is not who he knows in person. At first, when it all came out, I was like, I need to hear her say she's voting for Trump before I make a decision. But his video kept replaying in the back of my mind. And he said something it was something along the lines of, he has text messages, and it would be funny if we all saw how she talked about her enemies. And at first I was like, why would we care what she says about her enemies? I don't get that part. If you told my enemies what I said about them, I wouldn't give a shit. But what if the enemies aren't really enemies? What if she truly does have like a right-wing Trump mindset? Anybody who doesn't have that mindset would be considered an enemy. Hell, a lot of MAGAs consider the left enemies. They would love if all Democrats and leftists and liberals would just disappear. It's crazy that we as black individuals, creators and watchers alike, have to be so careful who we follow when it's not us. That's why we have our own, that's why Black TikTok is a thing, because we have our own space where we can laugh at only shit we would understand. And it's so hard following these bigger white creators who get a platform and blow up so fast. And then a few months down the line, a year or two ago, they had tweets saying the hard ER, or talking disparaging words about a very high profile death of a black person. And then they get on here, make a half-ass apology. And even though we are saying we don't accept that, we don't accept it. All because they see a bunch of white faces in their comments talking about, we love you, people make mistakes. They accept that. They accept those people saying they forgive them over us. I don't get it.
I get it. Well, of course we know it's entitlement. But you have to realize that there are still white people who believe that they have ownership over us. And with that ownership, they believe that we want every moment of the day to emulate them. So they believe like, oh, if we accept their apology, they'll fall in line and they'll apologize too, because, they want to be like us. They want to do everything that we do. No, absolutely, we do not. We're not trying to be savages. And if you're offended by that, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Deal with the truth. Argue with Jesus, Allah, Buddha, a few Hindu gods. You're not going to argue with me. The facts are not in your favor. Sorry, not sorry. But once again, we're not done. Take a gander. Here's even more.
Much as I hate to add to the deluge of think pieces about this woman, here's my honest opinion, right? No jokes, no sarcasm. My real opinion is that Mama Tot messed up, right? She made a mistake. She misspoke, but it's her response to that mistake that makes it very easy to believe. Even if this is not true, it makes it very easy to believe that she is the type of person who would callously center herself in a conversation that also includes victims of a hurricane, people who have lost absolutely everything, right? Her complaining about being victimized, about being bullied, when people are rightfully calling her out for misspeaking, makes it seem like she only cares about herself. And this is an especially bad look in a brand that thrives on authenticity. So here's a quick recap of what happened, in my opinion, right? So Mama Tot got in her car and she made a video about how she's mad as hell, right? And she listed off a number of things that she's mad about, specifically the fact that victims of Hurricane Helene are suffering. And in that video, she also mentions the initial $750 FEMA disbursement that's been given to victims of Hurricane Helene. Now, to be clear, that's not the entirety of the aid that they will be receiving. That's just an initial disbursement to help them meet their immediate needs while the government gears up to engage in hurricane recovery efforts that are being engaged in right now. But her mentioning that makes it very reasonable for someone to come to the conclusion that one of the things that she's mad about is the FEMA response, that she believes the FEMA response is inadequate and that FEMA is bungling the response. Otherwise, why would she mention that when she's listing off the things that she's mad about, right? And her being mad about the FEMA response, that's a conservative talking point. That's conservative propaganda, and it's misinformation. It's wrong. And it's not just that it's conservative propaganda and misinformation, but it's propaganda and misinformation that could actively dissuade someone who has been a victim of Hurricane Helene from seeking aid that they would otherwise receive, right? Imagine you've been a victim of a hurricane and you're sitting in your shelter and you're watching her video and about how she's complaining about the FEMA response. And in the background is all this conservative chatter and propaganda about how the FEMA response is inadequate and FEMA doesn't actually care about you anyway. And you may choose very reasonably not to apply for that aid. Because why would you? Why would you spend all the time and effort applying for the aid when you could be focusing those efforts elsewhere? And also, it's not enough money and it's really hard to get and they're probably going to deny me, right? And so you may choose not to receive funds that you would otherwise receive. And therefore, you will be harmed by her actions, right? And instead of getting on here and saying, I misspoke, I'm sorry, I misspoke, you should apply for these funds. They will be given to you. If FEMA is engaging in recovery efforts, seek them out. If you require recovery efforts, if you are not a victim of the hurricane, here's a number of aid organizations that you can donate to. Instead of saying that, she made herself the victim, the real victim, right? I'm being victimized. I'm being bullied. I'm being harassed. Now, she did clarify, but she centered the conversation about the treatment she had received when people rightfully called her out for parroting, even mistakenly, parroting conservative propaganda and misinformation. Conservative propaganda and misinformation that could, again, cause harm. And then she makes another video in which she further clarifies her political stances, but she couches that in 5 minutes of complaining about how she's been victimized, she's been bullied, she's been harassed. And then maybe 15 seconds of, and I'm not voting for Trump and I didn't vote for him in the last election. It makes her explanations and her clarifications ring hollow when they're couched in such extensive language about how she is suffering, especially when the conversation should really be about the victims of the hurricane, right? And it's just like, it makes it easy to believe, again, that she is not Mama Tot, that she is just Ophelia. And Mama Tot is a character. And Mama Tot may care about other people, but Ophelia does not.
No notes on that one. No notes. Let's take a look at this.
Hey Ophelia,
it's your friend Mercury. Recently, you made a video that really shocked me.
I swear to goodness, if everybody in the world could talk to people like about, politics and stuff like you talk to me, people would probably talk more about things. First of all, I love you. I hope you know that, and I love your community. And most importantly, I really understood several things in your video. I really did. And I appreciate you for that, because I haven't gotten that. And what I have gotten has been horrific. Like the major bullying and death threats and attacks and calling me names I've never been called in my life. Like, it's bad. And here's the thing. I hope people understand. Sometimes when people are silent, they're not silent for the reason that
some people think, or the reason they might be thinking. When I'm being bullied like that, I shelter in place and I isolate and I back off. I'm a very, 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 very sensitive person. Very sensitive. So, which is why I don't have a mean bone in my body. Maybe unless somebody like pisses me off. All right. But I'm very sensitive. So therefore I don't treat people like that. And I like it when people can talk to one another. And if they can't talk to one another and they just start fussing, hollering, and fighting, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to walk away. When I made my video about talking about my anger and my sadness and my frustration for literally seeing these people lose everything, the homes, the jobs, the vehicles, everything. At that time, I was not aware of any FEMA help or on the way or had been there. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about that, right? I just gotten off the phone with my girlfriend in Chimney Rock in North Carolina, which that town is like, I don't know. I don't even know if it's going to be there anymore. And I just gotten off the phone with her, and she explained to me she had 12% left on her phone. Her husband didn't have his insulin. She did not know how they were even, like it was madness. And I felt so helpless, like so helpless. You know, before that video, I had made a couple of videos giving out resources, information, where to donate. Last week, me and Papa Tot donated another 500 last night because my mutual Jolly was doing a live fundraiser for a specific family in the live. So I went ahead and donated another 500 more. So I've certainly made videos and used my platform for them. I wasn't just bitching. I've used my platform for them. But anyway, when I made my video, it didn't dawn on me. It didn't dawn on me that anybody would take it as anything as then, man, I'm freaking pissed off this hurricane came. Like, I'm pissed off now because one's about to hit Florida. My family's on this one. My family's on this one. And we're going to have to watch this all over again with whole nother people. And I'm just one of those people who get pissed off when I have to see people suffer, you know? But I didn't know anything about it. And it's very frustrating that people took that video and they actually lied on me. They actually said they heard me say that FEMA and the government weren't doing enough. I never said that. There is not a video that exists of me saying that. I would never say that because I didn't know what the government was doing about it at that time, like at all. I needed to say that. Anyway, so please, the only thing I can think of is that maybe people seen other people saying that in the comment section and just intertwined me with that. There's also another creator that's really saying that stuff, not me. I don't know if they're lumping me in with that person. I don't know, but I haven't said those things. I haven't said those things at all. So I've been accused of everything, but you're shocked, I'm shocked too. So like, we can be like that, okay? But I didn't see. Now, after talking to my friend Dan, who is a gay man, right? Gay as hell. He did explain to me that that was a bad timing video, you know, because of that. And because everybody's so heightened because of this election. Because people are afraid, like you, okay, of things being taken from you that should be given to anybody, right? I understood that. But because of like how broken this app, you know, made me because of attacking me for that video, I sheltered in place because it's like, man, if everybody could have like spoke to me like you just did, Lord, we've been having multiple conversations probably, but they didn't, because not everybody's nice people. And not everybody thinks and sees things like I do, you know? And I never thought that I would ever have to say that I didn't vote for Trump. I thought people just knew that by my actions. Again, Papa Tot tells me all the time, not everybody thinks and sees things the way that I do, you know? And I understand that. I love your community. I love all communities. And I would never vote for anybody that would take anything away from you or from anybody. I didn't even vote for him last year. So, the last time. So
I don't know. I just thought people just knew. That's all. I just thought people knew. And I usually just let people lie on me because my mom, I was raised by a bully, which is why this has just broken me, because I've never been like bullied like this before. So, and it just reminds me of my mama, and I'm so triggered by this. And I didn't like, hold on. It just triggered me, and I felt I felt very hurt. That's all. I mean, sure, my feelings don't matter. That's okay. But it just really broke me. That's all. But I never meant for my video to. I see what you mean about how it could like leave the window open to make people think that. I understand that, and yes, you're right about that. But when I made the video, politics wasn't on my mind. It was just the people. So, anyway, thanks for talking with me. Again, I wish everybody was like that. So, anyway.
A whole lot of fluff. I'm being bullied. If everybody was nice and coddled me, we would have more conversations. But in full disclosure, there's a two-parter from Madam Mercury. We're going to go through both of them.
Hey, Ophelia, it's your friend Mercury. Recently, you made a video that really shocked me, and I wanted to do a call-in. You said in the video that you are not political, that your platform is not political, that you've never used it to be political, and I think you're wrong. You have used your platform multiple times to help me raise millions of dollars for gender affirming care. You've done lives to help push people to my fundraiser that I do with Jory every year. And you have helped us save lives with gender affirming care. You are political. You make a space that has cultivated a queer audience, largely a queer audience, and largely an audience that is talking about body autonomy. Like, you are political. And I know you may not feel that way, but I think that when we are silent as public figures, we're actually saying a lot. And I know navigating the space, which is the internet public space, is really difficult sometimes. And I get it wrong too. And it's really hard to know what we should and should not speak on. We don't want to over speak. We don't want to talk for some people. And we also don't want to not speak on something, right? Like, it can be really hard sometimes. But Ophelia, that's kind of the price we pay as public figures. And I know there's a lot of good that comes from public speaking, from publicness. There's a lot of good that has gotten into your life because of it. And I know there's a lot of negative too. And it makes it really hard. But there are people who are actively in positions that are going to be affected by this election this year. And even though I don't think your original video was about the lack of funding for FEMA, I do think that as someone who has a large audience, 5 times larger than I do, I think it's really important to understand that you can actually raise money for those people affected by that. So if you did believe that FEMA wasn't helping enough, you can actually help by raising millions of dollars of gender for the cause, to help people with their homes and going through the hurricane. Like, I raised money for gender affirming care, right? Like, we have active abilities to do that when other people don't. So I know that I don't want to pile on. I don't want to be yet another voice that is telling you what you know you aren't. But I have to tell you, as one of your friends, I was disappointed to see that you didn't verbally say what I know you truly believe. And I hope that you choose to do so publicly for so many reasons. Okay, take care, Ophelia. I hope that we can still talk after this. Hey, Ophelia, it's your friend Mercury again. I saw your video. Let's have a talk.
Man, if everybody could have like spoke to me like you just did, Lord, we'd be having multiple conversations probably.
First off, to all the comments that were mad at me for calling in Ophelia with my original video, boy, does your comments age like milk. And I love milk, but not yours. To put it simply, I believe that if you publicly harm someone, you are publicly held accountable. I don't think having these discussions privately actually help anybody. I think that when we are publicly harming people, even if it's by accident, and we have a private conversation, it does not help the people we have harmed or have educated people who didn't think we harmed anyone at all. So having these public conversations does matter. Thank you for responding to me directly. That was very kind. However, there are some things you said in that video that I want to respond to directly. You mentioned in your video that you wished more people spoke like me when it came to these difficult conversations. And to be honest, I don't think people should have to soften their words in order to be heard. Hey, Mercury from the future, I just realized that as I was editing this, I never clarified. This does not mean it's okay to threaten someone. It does not mean it's okay to use someone's trauma, like the loss of a child, to attack someone. That's diabolical and awful stuff. However, when people are criticizing someone and when they're critiquing their behavior, in the midst of all of that happening, when people are threatening you and everything else, it can feel like a personal attack. But we need to work through that and understand that that discomfort does not mean we shouldn't listen to them. Passion and frustration can be read as anger when it's really not. When you're having a political system that is constantly keeping you on your toes, and there are people constantly voting on your body autonomy, and there's people constantly voting against your own rights, that can make it really hard to have these conversations. I mean, it's like being in a burning building and expected to be like, can you please help me? Like, come on, of course you're going to be screaming when you're asking for help. I appreciate that you said that you don't support Trump and you didn't vote for him last time, but you did that 3 or 4 minutes in the video. It got kind of buried. It got lost. And I think it's going to continue to get lost by a lot of people. I think I want to acknowledge something that's really important, Ophelia, is that you are at a dinner table that me and a lot of other creators will never be invited to. There are so many conservative people that follow you. And those are people who would not listen to a black creator, who wouldn't listen to an indigenous, a disabled, or a trans creator. They wouldn't listen to us. But they might listen to Mama Motherfucking Todd. And I think this is where a lot of the frustration comes in, because when allies can walk through a door that we're not even allowed to walk through, and they're not saying how they feel about things very clearly and very loudly, it can kind of feel like they're turning the back on us because they just went through a door, that door just slammed shut, and we're still outside in the cold and the rain. And we are hoping that you're going to be like, hey, everybody, shouldn't we let them in? You know? And when we're not doing that loudly enough, it can really feel like that people are turning their backs on us. And to all the people in my comment section who are saying you don't have to be political in order to be an ally, I think you're wrong. I think that is an allyship. All that is a word. If you want to be a real ally, you have to be actively involved in the liberation of anyone who's oppressed by our government and our society. And of course you know this, Ophelia, but I can't speak for anyone else. That's for them to decide. But I know for me, I'll say that I know allyship is messy. I know friendship is messy. I don't expect perfection because I know if I did, I'll be waiting an awful long time for that to happen. So I'm okay with things being messy as long as we take action and then we're not passive about all of it. We need action because that's what leads to, momentum and a future for a lot of us that feel like we can't have a future right now. And remember, you're worth the time it takes to have difficult conversations. Resting on your comfort will not lead to things improving. We all want things to get better, so let's be involved with getting them to be better. Take care, everybody.
Now, before we close out for the night, I want to point out something. One, Mercury was absolutely correct. Two, Ophelia listening to Mercury goes beyond kind words because there were a lot of people who were not, the vast majority of people were not on the attack and addressing her. She was on the attack in her first video under the guise of being emotional. So there are people who were disappointed and were going to have an emotional response back to her. There were a lot of people who took a logical stance and broke down and disseminated exactly what she said and what she didn't say and their disappointment. Ophelia listened to Mercury because Mercury looks like her. I'm not saying in a literal sense. That's why. And Mercury was absolutely correct. You cannot wait for someone to coddle you to listen, especially if you are saying you're going to be a safe space for people who deal with far more than what you do on a daily basis. You are commodifying marginalized communities that are treated less than politely every single day and have to navigate those things. And if you want to know a little bit about being targeted, while you still want to bury your head and not be political, this is what it looks like when someone's bullying you, targeting you, and waging war against you, and you're actually trying to do the right thing.
The Green Party literally just admitted their game. The following is video from an event that they held immediately before Dr. Jill Stein walked out on stage.
We need to be clear about what our goals are. We are not in a position to win the White House.
So this is bad enough, right? Like, they're already just admitting they have no chance of winning, but watch this.
But we do have a real opportunity to win something historic. We could deny Kamala Harris the state of Michigan.
And the best part, look what reaction it gets. They just try to help Republicans. They know that's what they're doing. They like it. You should not treat these people any different from Trump voters. They share the same end goal: get Donald Trump elected. That is their purpose.
And they always talk about crabs in the barrel, specifically regarding the Black community, because they would love for us to be in constant battle with one another, because we've shown throughout history that united, we are beyond a force to be reckoned with. But that's where they want to stand. That's what it looks like when just existing causes people to hate you, causes people to make up lies about you, causes people to create in their minds scenarios that have nothing to do with you. You creating the distress and then infantilizing yourself into the default damsel position is not bullying. It's not harassment. It's not an attack. It's not abuse. Especially when you allow members of the communities that you say that you are a safe space for to be deleted and blocked, and you not listen to them. But it doesn't matter. As long as you throw on an accent, do your makeup, and put on a pretty frilly dress, you can still peddle whatever, right? Yeah, you're right. As always, thank you all for joining me here. And each one teach one, each one reach one. We'll close with a little information regarding Tesla, because if you got one of those Cybertrucks, you may not be able to insure it. No joke. Till next time.
I'm not the one to judge you off of the cars you drive, but tell me again the benefits of a Cybertruck, because according to Geico, you guys are no longer going to be insured. The story comes from Torque News, and they stated that Geico was terminating insurance coverage of Cybertrucks and says that this type of vehicle does not meet our underwriting guidelines. This is the article, so I had to go find it. Yeah, it looks like they're... Ciao. Now, an owner of a Cybertruck by the name of Robert Stevenson had published this open letter that he had got from Geico. And in the letter it states, after careful review of your policy records, we have determined that we are unable to continue your insurance coverage for the 2024 Cybertruck. Stevenson, who described himself as having an amazing record, sees the non-renewal move as a decision that makes no sense and added that there were vehicles out there that he believes are riskier than his Cybertruck. Geico, after being reached out when the story had went viral, they actually stated that they cannot elaborate why they chose to no longer cover Stevenson's Cybertruck, and they cited several issues that could have influenced the decision, including the timing and the cost required to get repairs done. Now, in another article, somebody had published and said the reasons as to why the Cybertruck might be a riskier investment to insurance companies. And they have reported that there were 3 issues in the past week with one Cybertruck. The owner says that he was locked out of his truck for 3 weeks and unable to open the door after it got bricked for the second time. Not bricked. Now, in another story that they had covered, they stated that a man says that he still loves his Cybertruck despite Tesla's failing to fix the issues with his truck after 8 separate service visits over 5 months. The article goes on to say that Tesla service technicians are awaiting upper management to issue the Cybertruck recall and refresh to address the truck's numerous issues. And then a few weeks back, they also have reported that the owner was left stranded in the middle of the road by his Cybertruck on 4 different occasions. The Associated Press have recorded that over 27,000 Cybertrucks had been affected by their last recall. Apparently, this is the 5th recall since the car had been issued, even though it was 2 years too late from the date it was supposed to be released. And in those recent recalls, they stated that the truck's rear view camera may not turn on when shifting into reverse, and it may take up to 8 seconds for an image to appear. The federal government requires the image to appear within 2 seconds. No, but that's only like the smallest litany of issues this Cybertruck is at. And I've seen them because, you know, again, what people don't understand is that it's more economic to have a Cybertruck or any EV vehicle when you live in a desert, because again, there's tons and tons and tons of those charging stations out here, and it doesn't get as cold as it does on the East Coast, so you can still drive your truck year round. Remember, you guys, last year where people were posting all of their Tesla videos during the winter times in Chicago and New York, and the cars just failing to even turn on because they're not really equipped to be for the East Coast. Unfortunately, you guys, I'm sorry. But other issues people had with the Cybertruck were their windshield and trim pieces. They had then had a recall for 2.2 million Teslas, including the truck, when it was found that letters on warning lights were too small and could not be read. I don't know what's going on with Tesla, but while Elon Musk is out there dancing at Trump rallies, he needs to really be focusing on the brand that he has tried to build.